Yo, what's up guys, Stella from Ather Gaming, and I'm back to you guys with a brand new video. Before we get into that, guys, before every single thing, I would like to give a huge apology to you guys. We're sorry that we couldn't upload for a while, but we're back. Be sure to stay tuned for a bunch of new deck profiles. We know that you guys are wanting that Danger Thunder one. It's coming up. But yeah, so let's get. I would like to give a huge shout out to our sponsors as always. So big shout out to Cartomagica. We love them. Check them out in the description down below. There are links there. And while you're down there, be sure to check out the link to our Patreon and as well to our Discord. Shout out to everybody who's part of those. And so yeah, without further ado, let's get into this brand new updated Battlewasp deck profile. Alright guys, so starting off with the monsters of the deck, we're playing the brand new Battlewasp monsters. And starting off, we play the best one. Triple copies of your Battlewasp Sting the Poison. So for you guys don't know what this card does, and I'm sure many of you guys don't know what these cards do, is on normal or special summon, what Sting does is it lets you add any other Battlewasp monster from your deck to your hand, which is absolutely nuts in my personal opinion. And its secondary effect is Quick Effect. You can tribute one other insect monster you control to target one monster your opponent controls, negate its effects. So it's not only a negator, but it's also a Stratos, which is really good. And not to mention, it's also the only in-archetype tuner, meaning you'd really want to be able to get access to it as quick as you can. And then moving on past the Sting, you play triple copies of Battlewasp Arbalest, the Rapid Fire. So what Arbalest does is on summon, only on normal summon, which is really unfortunate. I wish it triggered on special summon as well, but it's whatever. On normal summon, you can target one level 3 or lower insect in your graveyard and revive it. So basically, what that means is it's like the Debris Dragon of the deck, or like the Blizzard of the Far North of the deck. On summon, you get to revive another from your graveyard and then immediately go off into a link play or something. So it's really good, but not only that, but to add, it also has a secondary effect of if it's destroyed by an opponent's card, you can spell summon one Battlewasp from your deck. So the reason why that's really good is because there might be some instances where you brick, so you'll set this, and then once your opponent kills it, then you'll be able to special out the Sting from your deck and then search an Arbalest and then just get your plays starting again. Continuing on, you play the Extender Battlewasp. You play triple copies of Pin the Bullseye, and in that same regard, triple copies of Twinbow the Attacker. So both of them basically have the same utility. Both their effects are, so for Pin, its effect is if you control an insect monster, you can spell summon it from your hand, and then once per turn you can burn your opponent for 500 life points equal to the amount of Pin the Bullseyes you control. So basically saying you could go spell summon this card, then burn your opponent 500. Twinbow the Attacker's effect is during your main phase you can just special summon it. Like, you don't have to control insect, you can control no monsters, you can control a board full of monsters. Just during your main phase you can special it, but then for the rest of the turn you're locked into insects, which does kind of suck. But I mean, it's a free special summon, so I guess it had to come with its drawbacks. And its secondary effect is actually kind of cute, where it can attack twice during each battle phase, meaning it has 1,000 attack, meaning that's like 2,000 direct, which it's not that relevant, but it comes up sometimes and helps you push for that little bit extra. So yeah, guys, that's it for the main deck Battlewasp that we play. We don't play the Dart the Hunter because it doesn't really like get you any advantage. Like Twinbow is a free special, Pin is a free special, Arbalest is a free special, and then Sting is a free +1. So you have to play all of those at 3 because you want to see every single one of them. So moving on to the extenders that we play for the insects, we will start off with the double copies of the Primitive Butterfly. So for those guys who don't know what Primitive Butterfly does, it's essentially Photon Thrasher for the deck. So if you don't control any monsters, you can just special it from your hand. So it sucks that it's level 5 because it means that like if you open multiples, you can't special summon it, which is actually, you can't special the normal one, which is actually the reason why I opt to run 2 instead of 3, because you want to see it, but not in multiples. So yeah, you play 2 Primitive Butterfly, really good. It's an insect, it's level 5, and you can special it. And it also has a secondary ability of once per turn, you can increase the level of all insect monsters you control by 1. Meaning, there are some instances where you can special summon it, increase its own level, and then normal summon like one of your tuners, and then start going into your synchro plays, which is really nice. Then we also play double copies of Aztekipede the Worm Warrior. So if you guys don't know what Aztekipede does, is it's kind of like the Black Dragon Collapse Serpent of the deck, or in that regard, it's very similar to that card. So you can special summon it from your hand by banishing an insect from your graveyard. That's it. There's no once per turn clause on it. Really good. I would play 3 of it. The only problem is that you can't normal summon it. So once again, like Primitive Butterfly, you want to see it, but you don't want to see it. Like it can't get your play started. But yeah, I think it's a really, really good card. Like I don't really know what else I could say about it. The card's really, really good. And once again, yeah, I would play 3 of it, but the problem is that you can brick on it because it doesn't really do much by itself. But as an extender, very, very powerful. Then off to what, in my opinion, is the greatest extender in this deck. We play triple copies of Danger Mothman. So I know that you guys don't really like it whenever we throw dangers into every single deck, try to make that deck competitive, but this time I just put in Danger Mothman because its synergy with the deck is just so powerful because it's a danger, right? So it's a free special summon, and in Mothman's situation, it's also a free draw no matter what. And you can actually discard cards like your Sting. If you happen to have it, you can discard it off the Mothman, and then you can revive it later with the Arbalest, and then just get insane pluses. Really, really powerful. You play Triple Mothman because, unlike the Primitive Butterfly, you can actually special summon it as many times as you want, no matter how many monsters you control. And unlike Aztekipede, it actually does stuff by itself. So you play 3 of it. It's absolutely mandatory, absolutely busted. It's probably the only danger right now, which is not expensive. So I really suggest that you guys, if you want to play this deck, pick up Triple Mothman if you don't have it already. Now off to the 1 of insects we play. Starting off, you play the 1 Goki Pole. You play 1 Insect Knight for your Goki Pole, 1 Resonance Insect, and 1 Doomdozer. So I'll explain what each of these cards do. So Goki Pole's effect is, if it's sent to the graveyard, you can add 1 level 4 insect monster from your deck to your hand. Then if you added a normal insect monster, you can special summon it. Then you can pop a monster your opponent controls with attack equal to or higher than that monster. So the whole play is you would send Goki Pole to the graveyard, then you would go add the Insect Knight, special Insect Knight, then pop a monster they control. We're really, really good. And I know that you guys might be thinking, you know, what if you hard draw Insect Knight, right? Then you can't special it. But then in that instance, you just use Goki Pole's effect and just add Aztekipede instead, and then just drop the Aztekipede. So it's basically the exact same thing. Aztekipede and Insect Knight even have the exact same attack, so you really won't notice a difference in it, besides the fact that you won't end up popping a monster, which is relevant, but hey, you have to be good at the bad. Resonant Insect, really, really busted in this deck. I was actually debating playing 2 of it, but ended up ultimately deciding on playing 1. So its effect is if it's sent from the field to the graveyard, you can add 1 level 5 or higher insect type monster from your deck to your hand. Then its secondary effect is, if it's banished, you can add 1 insect monster from your deck to your hand. You can not add. You can send 1 insect monster from your deck to the graveyard. So the whole play with this is you would send this to the graveyard to add your Doomdozer, then you would banish it for your Doomdozer to dump your Goki Pole, then you would use Goki Pole's effect to add Insect Knight, then special Insect Knight, then pop a card. So this engine is really, really powerful. And also, for you guys don't know what Doomdozer does, is it's basically you just banish 2 insects to special it, and if it inflicts battle damage to your opponent, then you dump the top 2 cards of your opponent's deck. So its secondary effect isn't too relevant. It's mainly just used as a big body, and it can also banish Resonance Insect. So that engine, very, very powerful. Now you are playing a blind going second deck, so I play hand traps. These hand traps are triple Ash, very, very standard. We also play triple Veiler, also very standard, and double Ogre as well. So this is the hand trap lineup that I opt to play. Ash is the most universal hand trap in the game. Sorry, let me just fix this up for you guys. Ash is the most universal hand trap in the game. You guys know Ash. Ash has always been a card that's been in the meta. Then Veiler is really in and out of the meta, but it's really, really relevant right now, especially with pendulum stuff going around. And then you play double Ogre as well, because Ogre is probably the best hand trap that you can play besides these, because it's a tuner, meaning you can go into Synchro plays like these ones can, and it also just like outs annoying monsters. Once again, with pendulums running around, Ogre is a very, very powerful card. And in his Dangerous Thunder, you can Ogre cards like Magius or Ogre cards like the LP and just really, really shut down their play. Another cool thing that Veiler has is that it's level 1, meaning it synergizes with one of the spell cards that you're about to see. So, yeah, really, really good. So I play the 8 hand traps. You guys can play Phantasmate if you want, but personally, I wanted to keep the deck as budget as possible. And plus, not only that, but I also felt that Phantasmate wasn't really too necessary in the deck. Now off to the spell cards, you play your, I guess, semi-search card, triple copies of Insect Imitation. This is the reason why I said that Effect Veiler actually has really, really good synergy with the deck, because you would, worst comes to worst, you could normal effect failure, then imitation it away to special out your sting from your deck, and then search your card, then special cards, and then just get your play started from there. So yeah, if you guys didn't understand from that, insect imitation basically just used to add your sting to your hand, or not to add it, sorry, to special it from your deck. Really powerful. Then the rest of the spells you play are just literally pure extenders. So you play triple copies of Revival Swarm. This card's absolutely insane. I was playing 2 of it, and then once I bumped up to 3, I realized how stupid I was for playing it at 2 in the first place. So what Revival Swarm does is, you target a Battlewasp in your graveyard, revive it. Not hard once per turn. So you draw triple Revival Swarm and a way to dump a Battlewasp in the graveyard, and you essentially just infinite loop it. It also has a secondary effect of, you can banish it, then target 1 insect monster you control, and it can't be destroyed by battle or card effects this turn. So, really powerful card. It not only provides protection, but it also is a free spell summon. And sorry, its effect to protect from the graveyard is a hard once per turn, but that's not its relevant effect. The relevant effect is the fact that this deck has an in-archetype monster reborn, which is not a hard once per turn. Absolutely insane. And we also play double copies of Summoning Storm. So what Summoning Storm does is it's very similar to Soul Charge for Battle Wasps. Its effect is you can target level 4 or lower Battle Wasp monsters in your graveyard up to the number of monsters your opponent controls, spell summon them all. So really good. Your opponent controls 3 monsters and you essentially go Soul Charge for 3. Very powerful card. But the problem is that when you activate this card, the turn you activate it, you can't special summon monsters except insects. Meaning even if you special summon before, like let's say I don't know, let's say I special summon a non-insect before I activate Summoning Swarm, now Summoning Swarm is dead. So unlike cards like Twin Bow, which only locks you out for the rest of the turn, Summoning Swarm locks you out for the whole turn. So it tracks special summons even before, which is actually the reason why it's at 2. That and the fact that going first, it does absolutely 0 just advantage for you. It does absolutely nothing, and it's also hard once per turn. Meaning, it's a very, very good card to see going second, but besides that, it's only good in very niche situations, but when it's good, it's great. And the last card you play, Extender, Monster Born. It's the greatest extender to ever live besides Soul Charge. I honestly don't know what else I can say about Monster Born. It's been on and off the ban list. Don't have to explain it. So that's it for the main deck, guys. It's 40 cards. If you guys want, you can play more and add more hand traps or add more insect extenders and all that. But I personally like it the way it is. So starting off with the Synchros, the brand new Synchros you play, the Battlewasp. So there's double Battlewasp Azusa the Ghost Bow. So what Azusa does is when your opponent takes effect damage from a Battlewasp monster, which like discussed before, you can do that with Pin and you can do that with some of the other Synchros that you're about to see. Then you can burn your opponent. You can burn your opponent's life points equals the original attack of the monster that burned them in the first place. And that's hard to turn. And then its secondary effect is if a Battlewasp monster you control destroys an opponent's monster, then you can special summon it from your graveyard in defense but banish when it leaves the field. Meaning you can summon it and it's also a tuner, meaning you can synchro it away and then you can attack over a monster and then you can revive it back from the graveyard, main phase 2, synchro and another big guy. So yeah. The next Battlewasp monster that you play is triple copies of Halberd the Charge. In my opinion, guys, this is the most busted Battlewasp Synchro monster. So you make 1 insect tuner and 1 non-tuner level 6. And its effect is once per turn during damage calc, if this card, sorry, not once per turn, once per battle during damage calc, if this card attacks an opponent's monster with equal or higher attack, meaning if you attack a monster with 2500 attack or more, then quick effect, you can have that opponent's monster attack. Meaning this card by itself outs Borreload, it outs Borrel Sword, it outs like what's another big threat? Like any big threat, right? Like this card can out cards like once again, yeah, like the Borrel's Borreload, Borrel Sword. It just outs every single thing. It's very, very busted because when you think about it, there aren't many cards which have battle destruction, or sorry, not battle destruction, but battle protection. They'll just have like a lot of effect protection and whatnot, but this card makes it so it has 2500 attack, meaning it'll kill anything that has 4900 or less attack, which really, really insane. You attack it, you half it, and you just kill it right away. Very, very busted, and it's actually the only extra deck monster that you play 3 of because of that reason. Off to the next Battlewasp you play double copies of Hama the Conquering Bow. What Hama does is so if it was summoned using a Synchro monster as material, it can actually attack twice during battle phase, which is kind of cool. And yeah, so when it destroys an opponent's monster by battle, you can basically make all your opponent's monsters lose 1,000 attack and defense, which is just good. It just nerfs everything. And then its second effect is at the end of the battle phase, if your opponent didn't take any damage, then you can burn your opponent for you can burn your opponent. Excuse me. You can burn your opponent for 300 damage for each Battlewasp monster in your graveyard. So really good card. There's honestly not much I can say about this card. It's level 8. You make using an insect and a non-tuner. It can attack multiple times, make your opponent's monsters lose attack. So it doesn't come up too often, but when it comes up, it's very powerful because it's essentially like a Hama, but better because it can attack multiple times, and instead of halving the attack, they lose 1,000. So you can take that however you want that. So after the final 2 synchros you play double copies of Ballista the Armageddon. Ballista is the big boy of the deck, and you hardly ever make it, but when you make it, it's just like a blowout. So its effect is, if it's spell summon, you can banish all insects from your graveyard, and then all monsters your opponent controls lose 500 attack and defense for each of your banished insects. And then if it attacks a defense vision monster, it does pierce. And its final attack is if the synchro summon cards, meaning like if you revive it later on the turn or later on in the duel and then it's sent to the graveyard, it won't count. But if the synchro summon card in its owner's possession, which also kind of is unfortunate, but once again, it's still very powerful effect. If the synchro summon card in the owner's possession is destroyed by an opponent's card, you can spell summon 3 of your banished level 11 or lower insect monsters. And you guys have to remember that insects aren't only getting banished with its effect. Insects are also going to be banished with the effect of your Aztekapede or with the effect of your Doomdozer. So you will have more than just the Battlewasp banished. You'll have basically all the insects in your grave will get banished, and they'll get revived when this card dies. It doesn't come up too often, but when it comes up, there's really nothing your opponent can do about it. Off of the links, starting off with the link 2s, we play the most busted link monster in this deck. You play double copies of Insector Picofelina. This deck, this card did not really have a use, or too much of a use, until this deck came out. So what this card does is, on link summon, you can discard a card, then target one other insect on the field, and then you get to equip an insect from your deck to it. Which, this is how you're going to be getting access to your Resonance Insect. You're just going to equip it straight from the deck. Cool. And then its secondary effect is not relevant, but the main effect is that on summon, it basically just equips your Resonance Insect or whatever. And then after that, so like there are many instances where I'll have like a Resonance Insect, Insector Picofelina, and then let's just have any other insect, like an Aztekapede, for example. You would go Picofelina effect, attach the Resonance Insect to the Aztekapede, and then you would go link these 2 off into another copy of Picofelina, and then you would trigger Resonance Insect effect and just combo off. So, very powerful card. Really think that you need to play this card at least 2, if not 3. Then, continuing off the links you play 1 copy of Phoenix, 1 copy of Unicorn. Just generic removal is always good in any deck that can play it. So, yeah, I don't have to go into it. And then for the last link you play 1 copy of Bortlesword. So Bortlesword comes up very often in the deck because there are many times where you'll just kind of have like extra like monsters on board, just random bodies on board, and then all of them just get linked off into a Bortlesword. Bortlesword and Doomdozer is a lot more than 8k, and usually you have like another monster to back it up, meaning if you summon Bortlesword, you're going for your opponent's neck, which they often can't stop it. Then the last card you play in the extra deck is 1 copy of Abyss Dweller. It doesn't come up too often, like to tell you guys the truth, but it's in very interesting situations. You would have like a Mothman plus like an Aztekapede, and then you can just overlay them into an Abyss Dweller, and the decks that Lucid Dweller lose it hard. So yeah, you just make that if your opponent forces you to go first. So yeah guys, that's it for the video. Really hope you enjoyed. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and share if you haven't already. And this is Abdullah from Ather Gaming, signing out. Peace.